Hey there, this is Mr. Icarus, and welcome to yet another edition of Doom Mod Madness. This time round, we're checking out too many super shotguns. Surely, no such thing as too many super shotguns, but regardless, this is of course a weapons mod, a slightly goofy one at that, featuring a shed load of the aforementioned super shotgun. Some of them you'd even go as far to say as stretching the definition of what you'd call a shotgun. Confused? Welcome to the club. Let's dive right in, shall we? So one of the first things you'll probably discover about too many super shotguns is that you won't always start off with a viable weapon. Case in point, this one right here will kill me, but not in the way you might imagine. And you know what? Let's get this out of the way. It's a weapon that you have to button mash for it to not kill you by button mashing the right hand mouse button. You gotta do that within 10 seconds, otherwise it just insta-kills you, and if you manage to get to 80, guess what? You can't use any of the other weapons. Even if I went around and picked up another shotgun now, it would actually not let me fire a single goddamn thing. So there you go, right off the bat, something completely and utterly useless. Thank you very much. Just to prove my point, can't do jack. Well, this is fine. This is just goddamn great. Sometimes, however, the mod will give you something a little bit more viable to play around with. Case in point, this shotgun here, which fires ballistic shotguns, I guess. And we've also got the chain shotgun, which does a devastating amount of damage in a very short space of time, but also runs out of ammunition very, very quickly. And to begin with, I thought this was how the mod was going to go. You get a lot of these really powerful weapons, but with a lot of significant trade-offs. But then you see everything else in the arsenal, and you quickly realize that they weren't really paying all that much attention to the concept of balance. This thing right here, I don't even know what to call it. I think it's a shotgun ball of some kind, because when you switch back to it, Doomguy chucks it up and catches it. So that's what I'm going to call it. The shotgun ball. There you go. Massive amount of bullet spread though, which is always cool, and the reload animation is just great. I think one of my favorite things about too many super shotguns is that after a while it just completely gives up on the idea of even adhering to its own theme. It just starts going, you know what, shotguns and super shotguns, they're a little vanilla, aren't they? Let's have a ballistic baguette launcher. Yeah, let's go absolutely hog wild and see how far we can go with that kind of stuff. And that inevitably leads to other weapons, such as this. Yes, that is Gabe Newell's head. Do you want to know what Gabe Newell's head does? It does this. It's quite possibly the only weapon you will ever need for the duration of whatever map pack you're playing this thing on, because you don't run out of ammunition. This thing is infinite. And because of the way this mod works, there's an entirely high chance that you will pick this up as your very first weapon drop. So, yeah, that's pretty much it after that. That's pretty much it. Screw balance, screw logic, I've got Gabe Newell's head. What else are you going to do about it? If you needed any further proof to how little the authors cared about sticking to the theme here, you can shoot lightning. Lightning that devastates a cyber demon in a matter of seconds, and that kind of brings me to the one significant drawback of this particular weapon mod. It makes it too easy, if you know what I mean. I mean, sure, you're probably thinking, Icarus, it's a ridiculous weapon mod. Of course it's going to make things easy, but even then, mods like Russian Overkill at least tiered its weapon system. Not everything was completely insta-kill. You still had to work up to the really, really juicy stuff if you were playing through something like a campaign, but here, because the weapon drops are randomized, chances are you will get that ridiculous stuff straight off the bat and just ruin any semblance of challenge. But then again, you could also make the argument that if you're playing this mod in the first place, challenge ain't really what you're looking for. And I can at least understand that. When it comes to picking my own personal favorites out of this mod, however, I think I have a penchant for the more compact, let's say, because I just find this kind of adorable and really funny to use. This is the mini super shotgun. It takes ages to load because the cartridges are so tiny and Doomguy doesn't have great finger dexterity, but it still does a fair amount of lovely splatty damage. I am using ketchup for those wondering, by the way. It's just become a force of habit these days when it comes to painting the walls red. If you want something with a little bit of a wider bullet spread, you can always pick not the ballistic baguette launcher, not the ballistic shotgun launcher, but the single shotgun cartridge. Why? That's why. It's it's wonderful to fire. I think it's more the animations than anything that get me. When it comes to interesting weaponry, it can be as completely overpowered as all hell, but if it's not fun and entertaining to actually use, then I'll just kind of get bored of it. But with little weapons like this, I could just keep firing this all day. It's great. Fire it all day long till I just run out of ammunition. If I were going to use one word in particular to describe how I feel about Too Many Super Shotguns, I'd say it's a hodgepodge. Because, I mean, look, I'm carving through demons with a sword that I'm just swinging about in a mod that's called Too Many Super Shotguns. There's no real rhyme or reason here, folks, and that's how you've got to kind of approach it. This is a mod that just wants to goof off and make you chuckle a few times, and it certainly does succeed on that front. There's a lot of real goofy stuff in here that did genuinely make me laugh the first time I tried to use it, but unfortunately, the chuckles are a little bit short-lived, and after a while it kind of runs out of tricks to kind of ambush you with, to amuse you with, and what are you left with after that? Not really all that much. It's a novelty, it's a gimmick. It's probably a mod that you'll play maybe once, twice tops, and then kind of consign to the old mod pile and maybe not even think about it ever again after that. It doesn't really have the same staying power, in my opinion, as something like Russian Overkill. But in all honesty, it's hard to be tough on a mod like this. It's hard to be overly critical because you know that the authors, quite frankly, don't give a shit. They were literally throwing crap at the walls to see what sticks, and what they did was certainly have a lot of fun in the process. And that's all it needs to be. Not every mod needs to break ground. Not every mod needs to be revolutionary or push the boundaries of the engine itself. Sometimes you just want a mod with ridiculous, stupid weapons that are completely OP, that have no rhyme or reason in terms of where they sit on the weapons list, and give you a chuckle. And it certainly succeeded on those fronts. If I were to make a few suggestions, however, in terms of increasing the potential entertainment value of this mod, I'd say, at the very least, ditch the dud shotguns. There's like 3 different dud shotguns here. We've met one of them, the one that forces you to button bash or die, and even then, won't let you continue with the mod, so either fix that one or get rid of it, please. Thank you very much. There's also another shotgun that taunts you with a message saying you need to buy DLC in order to play it. Funny for all of 5 seconds. And then there's another regular-looking shotgun that just doesn't fire. It just kind of sucks. It's not fun for anyone. Stuff like this, great. More goofy shit like this, please. More ridiculously stacked weapons. More shotguns that fire like railguns. I'm perfectly happy with stuff like that. And to be honest, the only other thing I'd say is maybe ditch the randomization. Maybe get some sense of structure to the weapon tiers here, because as fun as Gabe Newell's head is, it doesn't make a lot of sense being able to pick it up straight off the bat, potentially. I mean, if you could build up to this kind of thing, it would probably make it feel a hell of a lot more satisfying when you finally do reach the pantheon of Gabe Newell's head and then rain unholy discount ballistic terror on their asses. Just saying. Just saying. So yeah, that's Too Many Super Shotguns for you. It's not particularly big or clever, but it's certainly amusing while it lasts, even if that is a relatively short amount of time. But if you fancy checking it out for yourself, the link, as usual, is in the description below. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching this video. Feel free to let me know what you thought in the comments, and feel free to suggest any mods you'd like to see me cover in future episodes of Doom Mod Madness. This has been Mr. Icarus. Thank you very much for watching. Icarus out.